back in the garage, back in the garage, back in the garage today, back in the garage today. What's going on, guys? Back in the garage today, getting ready to install a brand new Graphix kit on Noah's KTM 65, but first, I gotta get all the old Graphix off. So let's get this thing up on the lift where it's a little bit easier to work on and start peeling them off and cleaning it up. Alright, so we're going to start with the number plate, and no, this is not the number plate I just showed because I stole that off of his old bike, so he had a number on it. You can use a heat gun, that usually helps in breaking down the adhesive. You can also use a, I don't have a heat gun, you can also use a hair dryer, or you can just do what I'm doing, and if it comes off easy enough, well, no big deal, it won't take that long. A little bit of dirt down there we're going to have to clean off. So that's the first part of the number plate. The second part is this little piece here that holds the brake cable or brake line in place. We'll get this peeled off too. Alright, first part's done. Next we're going to move up here to the front fender. I guess while we're up front here, we'll go ahead and get the fork guards. These are proving to be a little more difficult. Oh, oh! That's not good. About lost the camera. Those are definitely going to need cleaned up. Let's get the other side. I could be wrong, but I'm nope. You can get it from here. They cut it out. All right, cool. All right, that's done. So there's no real actual order you're going in. I'm just working my way front to back. Wait, does this one have? This one's got Graphix on Graphix. I want to see what the factory Graphix look like. They're right there. That's pretty funny. So we got the tank shroud. We also have the other piece here on the tank. That's nasty as can be. Might as well stay on this side of the bike. Get this airbox sticker off. Alright. This is actually going way, way easier than I thought it would. Might as well get these swing arm stickers off. Alright, it's actually clear. That's gonna need really cleaned up. Okay, let's get this tail section sticker off. There we go. Alright, now we're over on the other side of the bike. Done. Alright, I think that's it. It's all the decals. Now we have to go around and I gotta clean up all this dirt and where there's, it's not too bad over here, but where there's sticky residue and stuff, we gotta clean all that up because we want to make sure the new Graphix we put on stick as well as possible. So what are we gonna use to clean this off? Well, to start with, we're just gonna use some good old-fashioned soapy water and a towel and see how clean we can get it. So you guys can probably see this. This is sticky residue left behind. So for right now, all I'm doing is going around and getting the dirt off. And then I'm gonna go back with a different type of chemical or cleaner, whatever you wanna call it, to get this sticky stuff off because it's not gonna come off with just soapy water. All right, so to get the adhesive stuff off, I'm gonna use Goof Off. You can use Dissolve It. There's a bunch of stuff you can use. I also have a soft bristle brush to help, tear some of this up and break it down. And then we'll use either some shop towels or shop paper towels or something like that to totally wipe this down. So this is like 30 seconds to a minute of scrubbing. You can see this stuff's already starting to come off, but we gotta get all of it off there. We don't want any of it left behind. All right, you can see this panel's looking pretty good now. This is probably about 3 to 5 minutes of work. Had to reapply a little more Goof Off. Now I gotta work my way around on the rest of the bike. You see we got some stuff down here. That's adhesive stuff. Some of this stuff may just wipe off with like your thumb or finger or something, but some of the stuff that's on here a little bit more, we're definitely gonna have to spray down with some goof off. Work our way around the entire bike, and then we've got one more thing I'm gonna do to prep it before we go to put the new Graphix on. All right, so we got about 99% of the adhesive stuff off that was left behind. I'm gonna call it a night because I'm getting a little tired. I did not do the fork protectors yet. We'll come out and do that in the morning and then finish the final prep and then get the new Graphix installed. All right, so we're back out here in the garage this morning. I just took the fork protectors off. We're gonna get these scrubbed down. They got a bunch of adhesive on them. Get them all cleaned up, and we're gonna do one last thing to prep this plastic, and just a little bit of adhesive on there. But just get everything ready here so we can start putting the new Graphix on this morning. So you can see I've got this rear swing arm all cleaned up. I just used the goof off and then one of these non-scratch Scotch-Brite pads, and then just wipe off the rest of it with a rag. That's looking pretty good. Now I got to go over to the other side and get that one done. Just to give you a little before and after, this is the right-hand side of the bike. You see we've got all kinds of dirt. And you can hear my fingers sticking to that. You can get this cleaned up. All right, so now it's time to start applying the Graphix. But before I put them on each piece of plastic, obviously you want to double check, make sure you got all the adhesion, all the adhesive stuff off, all the dirt off. And then I'm gonna prep them. You've got a couple of options. I've got rubbing alcohol here. This is also just contact cleaner. One of these two things to make sure the surface is good and dry. Obviously, after you spray this on, wipe it off and make sure it's dry before you put the decals on. But let's get to doing it. Now I'm back here in my office, and when you order custom decals, most of the time they're going to come on this big giant sheet. So before we take this out in the garage, I've got a pair of scissors here. We're going to go ahead and cut these out. You don't have to be real precise, just cut them out enough that you know, you don't have to deal with this giant sheet. And it took a couple of minutes. You got all the Graphix cut out and ready to be put on the bike. All right, so I got my hands washed. You don't want to be working on this stuff with dirty hands. A couple things you might need: some masking tape. Probably don't want it this thick though. I also have this spray-on application adhesive that I'm going to use on the swing arm. I don't know if I'm going to use it on anything else. And I also have one of these little felt tip squeegees. I don't know if I'll need it on this bike. I'll definitely need it when I do my Graphix, but that'll just help you get the bubbles out. I don't know what we're going to start on. Let's just pick a spot. So I guess we'll start here on the swing arm. Now I am going to use this application spray because basically what it'll allow you to do is give you a little bit of a wet surface. So if you don't get the decal on there perfectly at first, you can move it around a little bit and get it set. So first thing we need to do is spray some of this on the swing arm. Then we're just going to wipe it off with a paper towel. That's just to clean the surface up a little bit more. See what we've got here. This thing is really gonna, almost too wide. I think what we're gonna do is trim this down a little bit because I don't like how wide it is. I'm just gonna get a razor blade and a straight edge and make it as skinny as possible. All right, so I got the Graphix cut down a little bit. Now we're gonna spray some application spray on here. We're also going to spray it on the back of the decal. We're going to get it in place. Alright, so we got the swing arm decal on this side, and we've got the swing arm decal on this side. You can see I did just a little bit of trimming and stuff because I don't want pieces of the sticker hanging up, and just makes it easier to catch dirt. And these swing arm stickers are known for getting a bunch of dirt in them anyway. Now since we have the fork guards off the bike, we might as well go ahead and get these put on. Obviously this one is going to go on this side because that's where the cutout is, and this full one here will go over on this side. We're just going to clean them up with a little bit of rubbing alcohol to make sure everything's good, and we'll get stickers put on. Alright, so that one looks pretty darn good. No bubbles, no nothing. Everything's lined up straight, or at least pretty straight. We're a tad, just a little bit off right there, but I don't think anybody's going to notice that. Alright, so if you look at the inside alignment here, this is hanging over just a little bit. I'm just going to take a razor blade to it. It's a tad off, but on the bike, you're not really going to notice it, but I just want to trim that up. Less chance of getting dirt and water and stuff up behind the decal. You should be able to see that little itty bitty sliver I just cut out there with the razor blade. It's not hanging over anymore, and these two pieces are looking good. So again, keeping with the theme of working things that are off the bike right now, we're going to clean up this number plate. It's just got a little bit of residue on it. Oh, there's still a little stickiness on here I need to clean off. And then we're going to get the number plate decal done. All right, so we got everything cleaned up. We're going to start with this small piece right here. Alright, so in the case of this one, we're not going to peel it all the way off the backing. We're just going to peel it part of the way down and get the hole lined up. And then work from there. Work your bubbles that you're inevitably going to get into out. And you want to work them to the outside. If you do get stuck and you see you're not exactly where you want to be, just unpeel it and put it back on again. See, I feel like I'm over on this side just a little too much, so we're going to pop this back off. So there's an idea of what it's going to look like back on the bike with a little piece back there, but we're not going to put it back on yet because we've got more graphics to install. So I think next up we're going to move back to the tail section of the bike. I kind of like to work up my courage before I start attacking the tank shrouds. We're going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit with some rubbing alcohol and then get this piece in place, which should look pretty cool. Don't think that could have gone on much better. Alright, so I'm going to do the right side number plate next, and I went ahead and razor bladed this through. This is a two-piece anyway, but I just wanted them separate because they go on separate and just make my life a little bit easier. And then looking at this, I still got a little bit of sticky residue there, so we're going to clean that up, and then we'll go to getting these decals on. What I did here is just razor blade some of this off so I can just concentrate on sticking this edge, and then we'll worry about the rest of the decal. I get that lined up pretty good, so now we can start taking some of this backing off. That looks awesome. So kind of the same deal as before. I razor bladed some of that off so I can get this lined up. I also cut out this hole because I need to make sure, you know, I've got it in the right place. So let's see what we can do here. That's about as close as you're gonna get. Make sure we get that on, and then we're just going to peel the back off again and squeegee the rest of it on there. These panels get a little bit trickier because there's a curve in them, so probably going to have to work these a little bit more. May have got that angle a tad steep, but it looks good. Since it was pretty much the same process as the other side, I went ahead and got on the left side number plate, which consists of the one here on kind of like the back fender and the air box, again two-piece. Now we're going to go up to the front fender. So things are going to get a little tricky up here on the fender because we have a three-piece decal which needs to line up pretty good since we've got that logo right there in the middle, so this should be fun. So I think the way I'm going to do this is put one of these side pieces on first because they have to go in a specific place, where this center piece I've got a little bit of give on it, and then get this one lined up and then move over to this final side piece. So we'll give it a shot. It's about as good as we're going to get. Alright, so not perfect, but that's about as good as you're going to get all that stuff lined up. Got the front fender done, that just leaves us with the tank shrouds. Alright, so there's no real secret to putting these on. You're just going to have to get it lined up and pressed on there. I'm going to get these done, get the plastic bits that we've taken off back on the bike, and show you what it looks like with the brand new Graphix. Alright, so you guys are ready to see the finished product. It turned out awesome. Just to recap, let me show you what the bike used to look like when we first got it, and then what it looked like when we stripped all the decals off last night, and now what it looks like now. Alright guys, so that does it for today's video. You know, taking off decals, putting on decals, and showing you what Noah's race bike's going to look like for the 2019 season. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider hitting that subscribe button, because if you like motorcycles, well, this is the place to be. If you have any questions about the decals, where we got them from, once again, big thanks to 343 Graphix. I'm going to link them down in the description below, and all of the sponsors of Noah's bike. But yeah, let me know what you think of the bike down in the comment section. And as always, I'll talk to you again soon.